Hello, everyone. This is Stephen Butler, the Executive and Artistic Director at the Actors Warehouse. And I'm here this afternoon or this evening, whatever time you're watching this interview,
Yeah.
with Miss Jess Washington. Um, Jess Washington is going to be the star of our upcoming production of Who Will Sing for Lena, written by Janice L. Liddell. And the show, it runs for one weekend, so it's a limited engagement. I mean, you can't get any more limited than that. One
Yeah.
weekend, February 25th through the 27th. And make sure you go to our website, actorswarehouse.org, to get the show times and ticket information. But so I just want to go ahead and open it up and welcome Jess Washington. Hello, Jess.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So Jess, I kind of wanted to just kind of like check in with you. You're going to be doing this show with us.
Right.
Who Will Sing for Lena. I'll have to admit, the first time I saw you perform, you performed this show. You were doing this show at the AACT, which is the American Association for Community Theaters, at one of our national conventions.
Gettysburg.
In Gettysburg, that's right. We were in Gettysburg. And it just so happens that your performance was so stellar that that you walked away with the Best Show award.
We did.
Yes, you did.
Won, yeah.
Yes, you walked away with Best Show award, and that was like phenomenal. That was great. So leading up to that, what was the process for you leading up to that? To be in that that national spotlight.
Long story. I'll try to make it short.
Okay.
So my director and I, Sal Jones, started in 2017, I believe, or ending of 2016, beginning of 2017, something right around in there. So around 4 years, we have been working on this before we got to Gettysburg. We started in Massachusetts, where our first performance was in Watertown, Massachusetts. We performed, I think, for 2 weeks at that time, did not have a lot of audience participation. It was mostly my friends and his friends, and Susan Harrington's friends, who is one of our producers. We decided that we were going to continue to show the play. So we ended up going to New York, and we ended up applying to the local branch of AACT's festival season. We went to the local festival season. We got in. We won that. We also won Best Production at the local level, and that tiered us up to the regional. We ended up winning regionals. Apparently, I was told, because I didn't know, I was told that we were the first, or one of the first, African-American Black shows, all Black shows where the cast and the crew were all African-American. We were the first to win at all these tiers. So when we were winning local, and then we were on regional, and then we went to Gettysburg, where I met you, and we won nationals. So we were creating all of these firsts in AACT. So I felt happy just getting through the show. Because as you know, the show is very heavy.
It is.
It's very heavy. It's very heavy. But being able to get through the show, being able to do all the series of all these first, to get to Gettysburg and be able to perform, because Gettysburg was the biggest theater I had ever done it in.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Gettysburg was 1,000 or a little under 1,000 seats.
Yes, it was.
And that was pretty big. I had a little voice. I had to.
You had to project.
And you and Kelly were in the balcony, right?
Yes, we were. Yes.
And you heard me?
And we heard you, every single word.
God bless you.
Thank you. So, where are you originally from, Jess?
I'm born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. Oh my goodness. Actually, I'm going to be in Memphis in a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks from now. I'm going to be in Memphis.
Oh, you're going to love it. The food, the weather, everything.
Yeah. SETC, Southeast Theater Conference. We were having, it's going to be in Memphis this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Well, now you know.
What theater do you know?
No, it's going to be at the convention center.
Oh, even better. That's a big venue.
Yes, it's a huge venue. So Okay, you need to get your plane ticket and come and see me.
I should probably do that. Yeah,
So
I
we
should
can hang
probably.
out. I know, right? Any chance we can get, we hang out any chance we can get. And let me tell you,
Yes.
absolutely. So your years in theater, how long have you been doing theater? People always ask that question. It's like, how long you've been doing theater? Because people, it's interesting because some people can, have been doing theater ever since they were little kids. And then
Mhm.
other people don't discover it until like some later part of their lives. But yeah, for you, how long you been doing theater? What's your background?
So it's sort of a mixture of both.
Hmm.
I was a very shy child, and my parents decided that they didn't want a shy child. They wanted someone who could talk to anyone. And they thought that, being able to speak and being able to interact would be a very good trait for a child to have. So they would push me to do theater. They would push me to do singing. They pushed me to do anything that required me to be in front of people,
Mm,
engaging and performing. Hated every minute of it.
mm,
But what happened is I'm still a shy child. That's like one of my core traits, is not going anywhere. But what I developed was this on and off switch that I can utilize. So
mm.
when I'm in front of someone or a group of people, I can turn it on and be presentable. And then when I'm not in front of anyone, I can turn it off and be my shy self, and it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all that was really created. So I started being thrown into all of these creative performance type scenarios when I was about 5 years old. And like I said, hated every minute of it. Somewhere around junior high and high school, my mother's coworker, Victoria Jackson, she was a writer, a theater writer. She wrote plays. She was a playwright. And she had created all these plays. A lot of it was like what we saw from Tyler Perry when he was doing a lot of touring for his plays. There was this storyline, usually of Black families, and
Mhm.
there was singing involved.
Right.
No, I didn't do any of the singing, but I was cast in almost every one of her plays. I remember auditioning for the first one, completely terrified, not knowing what I was doing. My cousin was there because he auditioned as well. And I had a really good friend who auditioned as well. So we all kind of auditioned the same time together at the Hollywood Community Center in Memphis. And for some reason, she let all of us in. She gave us all parts. And she ended up writing a part for me because she didn't have one for me.
Oh.
And I thought it was because, she didn't want me to feel left out. But she ended up telling me later, she was like, there was something about you that I felt like you needed to be in front of people. And I
Hmm.
said, oh, thank you. Great. Because I really didn't want to.
You didn't want to do it because
I didn't want to do it. But since she wrote the part, I was like, all right, let's do this. And then one play turned into two, turned into three, turned into seven. I think seven by the time I graduated high school.
Cool.
I told myself when I went to college, when I went to undergrad, okay, I'm not performing anymore. I'm old enough now to make the decisions. I don't have to be in front of people if I don't want to. So I went to undergrad, and my whole first year, I did no performing whatsoever. But God. So all of my friends, all of my friends were performers in one capacity or another. So
Right.
although I wasn't performing, I was constantly in the audience watching them perform, whether it was dance, whether it was singing, whether it was acting. And every time I would sit there and watch them, I'd be like, I can do that.
Mm.
Do that. I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So it didn't take long, but I ended up performing in undergrad.
You're right.
And that's when I kind of I gave into the bug of acting.
So it was kind of like peer pressure.
Sort of.
Sort of.
A little bit. It was invited though. It was invited.
Okay.
I mean, at the time I was still pre-med. So I had it in my head. I was going to be a surgeon.
Oh, wow.
I went through all of that into the age of 26. 26 is when I decided, okay, we're going to put the surgeon away and we're going to go ahead and pursue acting. So,
Wow, that is great. And then you went on. So after you did your undergrad, you went on to get your MFA. So briefly tell us about your MFA experience. Where did you study?
so I have my MFA from Actors Studio Drama School here in New York City, where I live now.
Uh-huh.
The MFA is a 3-year program, and it's correlated with the Actors Studio, and also inside the Actors Studio. People think that
Mm,
all these things are the same. They're not.
no.
Inside the Actors Studio is the show with James Lipton, where he interviews,
Yes, I remember James
prominent.
Lipton. Yeah.
Yes, he interviews prominent and usually A-list celebrities about their method, about the method.
Mhm.
And then you have Actor Studio MFA that teaches the Stanislavski method to all of its students. And it
Mm,
was a it was a rough 3-year program.
mhm.
They really broke me down
Mm.
in an effort to then build me and the rest of my classmates back up to be greater artists and greater people. I think so.
Nice. That is so nice to hear. I love that. I love hearing things like that. So, speaking of, you know, I'm going to go back very quickly here as far as our connections are concerned. There's a common that we have a common connection, and
I
that
think we have
is, yeah, we have a common connection. Not we. Well, we have so many common connections now, but our big one, our really, really big one is Mondial do Teatro,
oh
which
yes.
is the amateur theater festival in Monaco. So in 2017, Actors Warehouse went on to represent the US in Monaco. And then actually, what was it, 2021?
2021.
Yes, 2021, you
I
with,
went
yes, you went to Monaco with this show.
with Lexington Players, right?
Yes, uh-huh. So Who Will Sing for Lena? And so you did this in Monaco. So tell me about your what was your experience like, your Monaco experience, and how did that feel for you?
The most amazing thing ever.
Hmm.
And it also gave me the opportunity to work on my French. So
There you go.
I was actually quite impressed. My French had grown so much by the time that we all met in
Right.
Monaco. And I
Hmm.
remember helping you with your bag situation. So
Yes, you did.
I was
My
very
luggage
proud
was lost.
I was very proud of myself. But being able to perform in a completely different arena, and in this case, a different country
Mm,
where most of the audience members don't speak English,
yeah.
is amazing for them to understand everything that was going on with Lena in her life
Mhm.
via the show, and have it not be because they can understand my English or understand my words, and have it be because they're literally only paying attention to the emotional and the physical uh,
Yes.
connections that come from one person to another. It's like a human being connection, because that's all
Yeah.
they really had to connect to.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I'm so glad that you said that, because when the year I went, we were doing a South African play titled Sepang, and there were two characters on stage, but only one person was speaking. The other person was acting with her body and her eyes and so forth. So, and she was phenomenal. And so I'm the only one up there speaking. Now, I was very, of course, like I'm sure you were very nervous and just concerned about how were you going to be received
Mhm.
to an international, by an international audience,
Right.
and not everyone is speaking English.
Exactly.
Um, so I had that very same concern. What was interesting was that the first night I watched a young lady um, from, I think she was from Argentina.
Okay.
And she got up there and she did a one woman show.
Mhm.
And she spoke very fast. I understood by maybe about 50% of what she was saying.
In English.
And no, Spanish. She was in Spanish. So I understood about 50% of what she was saying. But the rest of it, it's like I just after a while, I just stopped trying to follow her what she was trying to say, understand, translate it in my mind, or trying to understand what she was saying, but just really take in the performance itself and what she was doing. And I felt it, just like you said, you just get this human connection, this feeling It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, it just transcends the language, you know,
That's what it's
altogether.
supposed to do. That's why
Yeah,
theater brings so many people together.
absolutely, absolutely. And so, and I said to myself, that's what I want. That's exactly what I need to be able to do. I need to be able to reach the people, even though they can't speak English. I need to be able to reach them.
Mhm.
And I think I did, because people would come up to me, because actually I had a woman who came up to me and says, I don't speak very much English, but I enjoyed your performance.
Yeah,
I know. So I was like, whoa, okay. So that,
superstar.
yeah, so you know you've done your job when you you have someone who doesn't even speak your language and they say, I enjoyed your performance.
Well, I know that I've done my job for Lena when people walk up to me and they can't say anything. They're just emotional. That's
Ah,
how I know I've done my job.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Wow.
Mhm.
So speaking of Lena, let's kind of just very quickly, let's talk about the complexity of the show. You know,
Ooh, so many nuances.
there are so many nuances.
Oh,
Um,
you've seen the show, so you know.
yeah, yeah.
It's a lot different. A lot of people think that what they see on stage, what they see on stage is what I feel performing it. And they're not wrong,
Mm,
but they fail to recognize that everything that they're seeing, I'm feeling it as they're seeing it, but I'm also taking on the emotional, like the inner emotional turmoil of this woman.
mm,
And it can be extremely tormenting
hmm
to speaking for myself, it can be extremely tormenting to place myself in the shoes of a woman who felt like she had no ways out
mm,
and still had to keep going.
yeah,
We live in a society where there are so many options, especially for African Americans, especially for women. And I grew up with the mentality that I could do whatever and do it whenever I wanted to.
mm,
And then I'm placing myself in a literal box to become Lena. And it's so different.
yeah.
It's so different. So when people are looking at it as audience members, they can see the box because I've created it for them,
Hmm.
but they still don't really know how it feels to be in it. And it's heart wrenching. Every time I finish the show, you can ask Michelle because you know Michelle too.
Yeah.
She's right there in the wings, and the first thing she does, she opens her arms, and I just run in because I have to just shake it all off, and I can't do that
Hmm.
unless I'm covered so that my vulnerability is and my integrity is then back in check, back in a safe place. Because it's rough.
It is. It is.
The mental capacity that I have to create for myself in order to be Lena
Hmm.
is a lot.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that hopefully the audiences that come and see the show this weekend,
Mhm.
they'll have an opportunity to feel something
Oh yeah.
and know what it's like. Because the way I'm directing, staging certain things,
Mhm.
it will, it will definitely be designed to really grab the audience member, and just like, just have them say, wow, did I just really watch that? Did I just
Yes,
really see what I saw?
you are
Right.
making some directorial choices that we didn't. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I know.
I love it.
But you
I
know,
love
it's like you got to make this, you got to make a bold choice and be out there
it.
and do it with confidence, even if it flops, you got to make a choice and be bold about it. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. And of course, if for those of you who want to see that bold choice that I make, you've got to come and get your tickets and come see the show. So
We're
what
giving away no secrets.
no, exactly. Exactly. And exactly, everyone will be sworn to secrecy. When you come to see the show, you'll be sworn to secrecy. So,
Right.
um, so let me take, so we can, and of course, as we're advertising this show,
Mhm.
one of the things we talk about is the injustice
Oh,
um,
yeah.
that Lena had to experience, the trauma, not just trauma, but the trauma she experienced, the injustice that she experienced as well too. And this was in the 1940s, Jim Crow South, and she's a Black woman. And so, but I guess what I want to say to you is, how do you see Lena's story being told today throughout our justice system?
Oh, modern day lynching.
Mm,
It's just the only difference is this one is a Black woman. And
yeah.
we do have instances today where you have modern lynching moments with Black women,
Mm,
where we hear on the news about police brutality where women were killed instead of men, or
mm,
women were killed alongside men.
mm,
But no one really talks about the trauma that Black women have to endure because of men. Uh, and this is Lena's story.
mm.
Now imagine being in 1944, where not only being a woman, but also being a Black woman, or both things are against you.
Mhm. And poor.
And poor,
Oof,
and poor.
yeah.
And I think the reason why I didn't say poor is because, without giving too much away, her her captor
Mhm.
wasn't very rich either.
No, he wasn't.
So this is all within, somewhat all within the same class. And the only real difference was that they were a different race and they were a different gender, both of which he thought he had control of.
Correct. Right, right.
And we see that same injustice today. And
Yes.
we definitely see it with Black men, but we also see it with Black women. It's just that I feel like it's much more silent when it comes to Black women, because we have that stereotype of being so strong that we could take on, and we can endure everything. All we have to do is just shake it off and say, like, okay, I'm all right. Wipe the tears. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Mm,
And I'm so glad that we're finally getting into a culture where Black women can say, no, I'm not always strong, and that's okay.
right.
And because I'm not always strong, you, sir, this is what you have done to me. This is how it's made me feel. And now this is what we're going to do to fix it.
Right.
And I really wish that Lena had an outlet for that.
Hmm.
I really wish that she had someone that she in I don't want to give away a lot, but in her story, she says that she couldn't even tell her mother.
Well, I know, right?
She couldn't tell her mom what was going on. How isolating is that?
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So parallels all through.
All through. All through.
All through.
All through. I love it. So what is if any, what would be a takeaway for the audience? The audience members who are going to come and see this show, what would be a takeaway?
I would ask audience members to look at this show without thinking that you already have it figured out. What you see on the surface of this show is correct. Everything that you see on the surface is correct.
Mm-hmm.
But try not to take it for face value. Try to actually think about what you're not seeing,
Mm.
because this whole play was written by a strong Black woman.
Yeah.
And though she is showing some of our wounds,
Mm-hmm.
she's very delicate at how she shows them.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to read in between the lines. You have to, one, put yourself in the shoes of Lena, and that's just the surface.
Yeah.
And then you have to dig a little deeper into the climate, the year that we're in, the racial tensions, the injustice that is already forming, where Lena was coming from, because it's very easy to judge Lena based on, especially the beginning of the show. It's very
Oh,
easy to
yes.
judge her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, she deserved what
No
she got.
shame.
Yeah.
Has
Exactly.
no shame.
Right. I know.
She has no shame about her beginning.
That's right.
She has more shame about the end than she does the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's easy for audiences to see this at face value, but I'm really encouraging them to see it in a way that they would never thought possible, because that's the only way that you're really going to get it. Because she's Black and she's a woman. This was 1944, but there is not much difference between this happening to a white woman in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is 1944 was rigged for the white experience.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
Some difference.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Woo. Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. It is
It's
a
a lot
lot.
to ask.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a lot to act,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a lot for the audience member to process. And I'm sure that audience members will be talking about it, you know, from the moment they walk out the door, they're going to be talking about it for days.
And that's what we want.
That's what we want. That's what we really want. We really want that. Yes. So, Jess, and once again, I want to thank you for joining us for this interview. Looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing you here in Florida
Yes.
with us.
Sunny
And-
Florida.
Oh, sunny Florida. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. Oh, yeah. And by the way, just to let you know, it was 80 degrees today. So,
Okay.
yeah, exactly right. It was just 80 degrees here. And this is in North Central Florida area. I'm sure it was hotter down south, in the South Florida area. But yeah.
It was a blossoming 35 here today.
Oh, poor thing.
Stop.
Anyway. but
cold.
Yeah, it's cold. You were cold, right? So, but yes, but sunny. We will definitely have the sunshine for you when you get here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you go online, actorswarehouse.org. Make sure you get your tickets for our upcoming production of Who Will Sing for Lena, written by Janice L. Liddell and starring Jess Washington here at the Actors Warehouse, February 25th through the 27th. Only one weekend, the 25th through the 27th. Go online, get your tickets, actorswarehouse.org. Jess, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, and we'll see you in the spotlight.
Oh, real soon.
Absolutely, real soon, real soon. Great. Thanks a lot, hon. Take care.